Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, we will learn what is ton of refrigeration. Now, before we consider the definition of ton of refrigeration, let us start from water. So, let us say if we have water, which is 1 kg of water we have taken. Okay. So, and the temperature of water, let it be 20 degrees Celsius. And we know that at atmospheric pressure, for the given temperature, that is at 20 degrees Celsius, this will be liquid state. Now, if we keep removing the heat in this direction, let us say the temperature may become 19 degrees Celsius, 18, 16, 15, 14 and so on. So, the next significant temperature which you would like to address is at 0 degrees Celsius. Now, what happens at 0 degrees Celsius? At 0 degrees Celsius, the phase change starts to happen, which means this liquid water will get converted into ice. That is when it starts. So, at 0 degrees Celsius only, we can have a liquid water. That is when phase change has just started. Okay. Now, if we keep removing the heat further, unless this gets completely converted into solid ice, the temperature would not change. So, at same 0 degrees Celsius, we will have a solid ice. Now, this is a phenomena where phase change is happening. Alright. Now, this phase change, we call it as, we must remove the heat in order to cause this phase change. Now, the amount of heat in order to cause the phase change, we call it as latent heat. Here, we are particularly talking about melting or fusion. So, latent heat of fusion or melting. Okay. Now, this latent heat of fusion or melting is the amount of heat removed. It is the amount of heat removed to cause phase change. Heat removed or added also. If we add the heat from this phase, let us say this is 1 and 2. If you want to convert from ice to water, the heat will be given. Whereas if you want to come back from 2 to 1, heat is removed. So, the amount of heat removed are added to cause the phase change from liquid to solid or solid to liquid. And this value is a measured value, which is for every kg, the amount of heat to be removed from the water is 335, close to 335 kilojoule per kg. Now, this is what we call it as latent heat of fusion or latent heat of melting. Now, coming back to the definition of ton of refrigeration, the ton of refrigeration originate from the US ton. So, 1 ton, from their perspective, 1 ton is 2000 pounds. But we are dealing in kgs here. So, this converts to be 907.2 kgs. So, if you convert ton to kg, we will have 907.2 kg. So, this is not our metric ton, which is 1000 kg, or not even UK ton, which is 1016 kg. What we are talking is US ton. So, US 1 ton will be equal to 907.2 kg. Now, if we consider this is irrelevant for us. This we had just taken for understanding purpose. Now, let us go back and try to understand what is 1 ton of refrigeration. Now, how fast are we doing this? We can convert this 1 kg of water to ice in 1 minute, or you can take 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 24 hours. So, how fast are we doing? That is what defines ton of refrigeration. Now, ton of refrigeration is basically defined as how fast we are cooling it. So, it is the amount of heat removed. It is the amount of heat removed to convert liquid water at 0 degree Celsius to solid ice at 0 degree Celsius in 24 hours. So, this is 24 hours in the denominator. And the 1 ton which we are saying is 907.2 kg. And the latent heat of fusion is 335 kilojoule per kg. Now, this kg and kg goes off. All you will have is kilojoule per hour. Now, if you want to convert this into kilowatt, you can just convert this hour into second. 12,663 kilojoule per hour. Now, if you want to convert this into kilowatt, so all you have to do is multiply the hours by 60. If you do this in 60, you will have minutes. So, if you want to convert this into kilojoule per minute, we can also convert this. 907.2 into 335 divided by 24 into 60 into 60, which gives us 3.51 kilowatt or 3.5 kilowatt. So, if you want to get the idea of in BTU per hour, so you know that the same thing happens at 32 degree Fahrenheit. So, if you have solid, liquid here, liquid at 32 degree Fahrenheit, so this becomes ice at same 32 degree Fahrenheit. The latent heat of fusion, latent heat in BTU per hour, latent heat in BTU per pound is 144 BTU per pound. Okay. Now, therefore, the same thing we will do, which is the mass which we have considered is 2000 pounds and latent heat of fusion is 144 BTU per pounds, and we are doing this in 24 hours. 24 hours, this pounds and pounds goes off, 12,000 BTU per hour. So, 1 ton of refrigeration can be rewritten as, so we can write it in different units. 1 ton of refrigeration can be written as 211 kilojoule per minute or 3.5 kilowatt, or if you want to represent it in BTU per hour, it would be 12,000 BTU per hour. We have a refrigerator or an air conditioner, which is generally told in terms of tons of refrigeration, TR. If you have a 2-ton refrigeration machine or 2-ton refrigeration air condition, it means that 2 into 3.5 kilowatt, which says that it is removing 7 kilowatt, which means it is removing 7 kilojoules per every second. So, that will be faster cooling. Instead of 1 TR, let us say, if you have 1 TR, it will be removing the heat at 3.5 kilowatts, which is 3.5 kilojoule per second. So, how fast are we removing is the question. If we go for 4 ton, obviously this goes to be 14 kilojoule per second. So, this is how fast. So, ton of refrigeration is telling us how fast the heat is removed. Now, if anything is given in kilowatt, we can convert it into tons of refrigeration. Let us say we have 14 kilojoule per second. In order to convert this into, so what are we doing? Convert kilowatt to ton of refrigeration. If we have 14 kilowatt, just divide this by 3.5, we will get ton of refrigeration, 4 ton of refrigeration. So, 1 ton of refrigeration is the rate of heat removal required to freeze 1 ton of water, which is at 0 degree Celsius, into ice at 0 degree Celsius in 24 hours. So, we have defined the equivalent values of 1 ton of refrigeration, 12,000 BTU per hour or 3.51 kilowatt or 211 kilojoule per minute. Thank you.